Many of these dudes just need to be lonelier. Make these dudes lonelier. So I just did a post where I was talking about a man that was jealous or resentful because his girlfriend had 3 houses. And then I get sent this post from the Am I the A-hole subreddit. It's titled, Am I the a-hole if I break up with my boyfriend for ruining my attorney swearing in moment? You're absolutely not the a-hole, and you definitely should break up with the man who ruined your moment. But let's look at the post and just make sure that we're making the right decision for her. But I already said, let's just break up. She says, Hi, I, 35-year-old woman, was recently sworn in as an attorney, but my boyfriend, who's 33, ruined it. I graduated law school in May 2023. I was going to take the bar that July, but was diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer a month before the exam. The diagnosis threw me for a loop and ruined what I pictured my life after law school would be. I withdrew from the July exam and transferred everything to February 2024 exam, thinking I'd be done with treatment. Wrong. I took my first bar exam in the middle of radiation treatment and almost 2 months after my surgery. I took that exam mostly because I had already paid, but didn't take it as seriously as I would have had I not gone through 16 rounds of chemo, surgery, and actively in radiation treatment. Unfortunately, I had to take the bar exam a couple of extra times before I got a passing score, which, given that I finished my active cancer treatment in May 2025, I guess it's not that bad. Yay, congratulations for this woman. I'm sorry, that's weird. Congratulations to this woman. She says, fast forward to now. I got a notification that my oath ceremony was Tuesday of this week. Since life loves to throw curveballs at me, I opted to do the swearing in via Zoom because my dad had a heart attack the Tuesday before and 5 mini strokes after that, which left him with limited mobility. It sounds like this woman is definitely getting some curveballs. My boyfriend and I live about about an hour and a half away from my parents. I went to my parents and he stayed home. I wanted him to be there with me, not just to witness such a momentous moment for me, but also as support because of everything my parents are going through. My mom has stage 4 gastric cancer. Things with getting him to my parents was too complicated, so we agreed we would FaceTime during the ceremony. The ceremony started and the judge was giving her speech and began swearing people in. My boyfriend was waiting on the call patiently for most of it. However, at one point I saw out the corner of my eye he had gone into a store. That happened just as it was about to be my turn. Then I saw the cell connected. He had lost signal. About 3 seconds after the call ended, it was my turn to do the oath. I was already mad because he was going to miss the moment I had waited for so long. But then it got worse. He began to call me repeatedly in the middle of my oath. Every time the call would come in, it would ring on my computer, distracting not only me, but the judge administering the oath. I would quickly ignore the call, but then another would go through. He called about 6 times, which covered the entire oath. I'm extremely upset. After everything I had gone through to get to that point and everything I was still going through just for that to happen. Not only did he miss it, but he ruined it. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but the call still came through. Also, would he have not figured out by the second or third ignored call that maybe he should stop calling? Part of me thinks he did it on purpose. I don't know how to feel anymore, but I honestly think I want to break up over that. Am I the a-hole? Literally, I am pretty sure, and somebody can jump in the comments to tell me, that this is what narcissists do. She has a moment to shine, and he needs to make it about himself. They do that with ruining holidays and birthdays and that kind of thing. This man literally ruined her one moment, and they haven't been together that long. She brings that out in the comments. So the fact that he did this to her, despite everything that she had gone through, this is egregious, and I definitely believe that this is breakupable. This is a breakupable moment, but I do want you to chime in and let me know. She does make a fuller comment in just a moment, and I'm going to get to that. All of us here says, first of all, congratulations on passing the bar. That is not easy to do, especially during cancer treatment. Also, congrats on finishing your treatment rounds. I'm so sorry life has been a series of setbacks and health issues. Not the a-hole. If he was home and the call disconnected, I would offer grace. But he left and went to the store. Was it for something urgent? How has he been with your cancer treatment and school? Supportive or sabotaging? It's hard to say if you should break up, but if he has a habit of not taking your accomplishments seriously or being supportive, then you should absolutely break up. Here's the OP saying, he went to go get bagels, LOL. He was supportive during the cancer treatment. He's never given me a reason to think he's jealous or threatened of my career, but I am the first truly independent partner he's had. Maybe he is subconsciously. And then Do MB says, if I had to see my partner's important moment over Zoom, I'd be sitting there with my phone plugged in, screen recorder ready to go, and a camera ready so I could snap a few pictures of what was happening on screen in case the recording had issues. I get not everyone is that sappy, but to run errands during your big moment, and I don't care if it's a 2-hour Zoom to see you for 5 minutes. This was a big deal, and he acted like it was nothing. I don't run to the breakup, he's trash, but honestly, it would depend on his response to you being upset over this. You say he was supportive during your treatments, but that was a case where he was being the strong one, whereas this is you showing that you could be self-sufficient. Maybe he can handle it and this was an honest, dumb mistake, or maybe he can't handle it, whether he's aware of that fact or not. Possible Mom says, I second this. This is by far the best take on this thread. The nature of this issue is embarrassing for your boyfriend, but at the same time, a solution should not just be running to breaking up. Communication is the most important part of relationships because it's what creates mutual trust. And I believe that's where this should reside at the moment. If you really had a problem with him where other issues were stacking on top of this one, then maybe break up. But this could easily be a dumb mistake that was not ill intended. They always want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I wanted to get to this part before I get to the update from the OP. Reddy Wolf says, well, there's a big difference between supporting you during cancer and supporting your professional success. During cancer, he was the great guy, staying with you anyways, caring for you when you needed him. You depended on him while he was the hero, saving you. It's easy not to feel threatened when you have more power. Now this is you being successful. You don't need him anymore and are independent. You may still want him around, but now there is a relationship between equals. The underlying power dynamic is totally different. He might not want an equal partner. And then the OP said, ugh, this just slapped me. I never thought of it this way. I have a lot to think about now. Okay, so that's that. Let's jump to her update. So here's the update. She says, hi everyone, just an update. We broke up, not exactly because of what happened during my swearing-in ceremony, although that didn't help. My dad is back in the hospital. I asked him to join me in going to see him, but he got mad because I ruined his plans to have a cookout on the lake. I think a lot of doubts were answered with that. Our priorities do not match, and it's evident that we're no longer a good fit. I want to address a couple of things from the comments. We were together for 1 year and 4 months. He was not with me during law school. He was not with me when I was going through 16 rounds of chemo or my surgery. However, he was with me for radiation, additional HER2 treatment, and bar prep. He was not my main caretaker, though. My mom and dad uprooted their whole life to come take care of me. However, he would take me to appointments and supported me emotionally. I'm definitely not overlooking any of that. I'll forever be grateful for him because of that. 2, I didn't answer the call because I was literally doing the oath when the calls were coming in. I had to pay attention to the oath and be ready to repeat it. Also, I wasn't going to answer the call and risk him start asking me why I wasn't answering and interrupting the oath even more. There was too much going on and I didn't have a moment to pause. 3, for those discussing my writing, this isn't a legal brief. It's a Reddit post. Get over it. 4, for those asking why it was too complicated to have him go, I was on a work trip when my dad had the heart attack and strokes. I got home Saturday night and went to see him Sunday morning. My plan was to stay there until the swearing in ceremony. My boyfriend didn't want to spend the night at my parents', so he didn't want to go. He doesn't have a license right now, so he couldn't drive over on Tuesday. I suggested he take a bus from where we live to my parents' town. He didn't want to do that either because he didn't know where he would catch the bus from. I stopped suggesting solutions to the problem because he kept shutting them down. So she is with a man who also does not have a driver's license. So that could also be a major contention point, but obviously not a big enough contention point for this woman. But, that is something that they started honing in the comments. Regardless, she has seen that their priorities don't align and she is cutting right now. She now gets to concentrate on her parents. Her parents were there supporting her during her cancer. So, this makes sense to me. She did have this big accomplishment and he did kind of throw a monkey wrench into her memories. So that is going to be one of her core memories of, taking this oath. But now she gets to move forward and hopefully she will continue to have successes. Anyways, let me know what you think of this one. Join the conversation. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.